is Landon Bridges. I'm a junior athletic training major here at Manchester University, and today I will be discussing the FMS protocol. FMS is a functional screening evaluating athletes and their compensation and their movements, such as balance, squatting, their hips and their ankles, and movements like that. The FMS has shown to be reliable in two different tests, and today I will be going over the first component of the FMS, which is the deep squat. The deep squat is kind of simple. I'm going to instruct Brody here with essentially a PCP pipe, and I'm going to have him place it on top of his head, and have his elbows about at 90 degrees, and press off so the dowel is above his head. All right, Brody, you ready?
Yep.
Also, another thing important to note, I'm going to have his feet shoulder width apart. Go ahead and press up. You ready? All right. And also, another thing to mention, a lot of athletes or a lot of people who weightlift do have the tendency to point their ankles out in the squat. But for this test, I want them to keep their toes pointed forward, going straight ahead at all times. All right? All right. Brody, go ahead and squat down for me. Come back up. And now, as the examiner, I want him to go through this test about 3 times. Go ahead and do 2 more times for me, Brody. All right. Go ahead and relax. Now, as the instructor, what I'm looking for in my athlete is I'm looking to see if his heels are starting to come up during this exercise. So, Brody, I'm going to need you to be a bad model for me. Go ahead and go back into your regular position. All right, and go ahead and squat down, but this time let your heels come up off the ground. Now, what this is telling me is, see how his heels are coming up off the ground? Now, what that's telling me is that he has either tight ankles or he has a weak core, and those are 2 things he needs to correct before he can go further into the process. All right, go ahead and relax for me. Another thing, another compensatory movement that we have to do would be if he couldn't keep the bar above his head and it starts to roll forward for me. So go ahead and go in that same position. This time, just let your arms go forward just a little bit. All right, go ahead and squat. All right, do you see how the bar is way too out in front of him? So this means he either doesn't have enough shoulder strength or shoulder stability to keep it locked in the same position that I asked him to. All right, go ahead and relax. Now, if any of these sort of things happen, I can have him do 2 or 3 things. First of all, if his ankles come off the floor, his heels come off the floor, I can position him under essentially like a 2x4 under this block right here. I want him to have his heels right here. I want him to go through the same test. So right here, and just go through the spot for me. All right, Brody? Go ahead and go. All right, press up. All right, so right here, go ahead and relax. You can step off the board. Now, the deep squat has 3 scores. Technically 4 scores. 0 being, well, if pain is elicited, you're going to stop the test for your patient or your athlete. So, Brody, pretend to be in pain for me.
It hurts.
Yeah, see that? There you go. There's Brody. He's in pain, so he can't do it, obviously. So for the next, if you're going to grade him for a score of 1, you notice that this 2x6 under his feet is going to be used. The tibia and the upper torso, they're not parallel, and his femur is not below horizontal, as in he's not getting in a parallel squat position. So go ahead, you're going to use the board for me. You're not going to be able to get into a deep squat, Brody. And there you go. See how he's not parallel to the ground? He also has to use a 2x6, so would be graded a 1 here. For a grade of 2, he pretty much has pretty good squat form. His femur is going to be horizontal, knees aligned over feet, dowel aligned over feet. Torso is parallel and the tibia is toward vertical. Only issue is he has to use a 2x6 board. So go ahead, do your best squat while using the 2x6 board. Ready, buddy? Go ahead and go. Perfect. Go ahead and relax. For a rating score of 3, this is perfect. A lot of athletes are not going to get it like this, but quite honestly, I think Brody has a pretty good squat, and I would argue that it could be a 3. Go ahead and go up for me, and go ahead and go into your squat. Notice his feet are still vertical, his heels aren't coming off the ground, his tibia is going towards vertical, his femur is parallel to the floor, and everything's going forward. All right, go ahead and relax on the Brody. And that's why I could argue could be a 3. Now, this concludes the deep squat protocol for the FMS. Thank you.